Alright guys, just thought I'd talk about actually going overseas, because the first thing I want to say myself, I've been overseas since I think it was November 2007 is when I first started traveling abroad. But the point being is, it's not the end of the world, and it's one of the things that people will often push is that, what if it all goes wrong? What if? But reality is, if you've come out of the UK, wherever, you came from somewhere to begin with, which you can always go back to. There's nothing saying that you couldn't go back to it if you wanted to. One of the things I will say though is often once you've felt the freedom and change of travel, you may not want to go back to it. And that's one of the big changes that you can come across, is the fact that your eyes open up to a different way of life. Your eyes open up to, you don't have to have the 9 to 5. You don't have to have the structuring that is often part of daily life for most people. Because reality is, a lot of the people that actually tell you must do this and must do that often don't do it themselves. It's a bit like MPs and tax authorities telling you you shouldn't do tax evasion, it's very bad, blah blah blah. Same with big business owners. Yeah, guess what? They pay experts to avoid tax where they can, or they run everything through expenses because they can, and at the same time they're trying to box you in to say you can't do it. The whole point of this is you have one life and you need to be living it. You need to take yourself out of whatever you want to do. I mean, because this is the main point here, is it's up to you what you want to do. I mean, if you're happy with the life you've got, then fine. There's nothing saying that's wrong. But if you're not happy, then you can change it. Because one of the things I've seen over the years is some of my friends lock themselves into lives that they don't even like, or they just keep involved in business and work because outside of that there is nothing. They're in an unhappy marriage, or they're riddled with that much debt that there's nothing really bringing them any happiness in life. It's all about, oh, I got a new car, I got this, but it's all just accumulated debt on false wealth. The new car, fresh, wears off after a while. Its debt will carry on a lot longer. But the point is, I was talking to somebody recently, I won't mention his name because they didn't, well, I'll mention his first name. I was talking to Gareth, and he was talking about how he traded in his cars recently. And he got a little Yugo. I think, was it a Yugo? It's an Igo. It's one of these very small Toyota cars. And basically he had a very good Mercedes that, good value, over 30,000 even when it's traded in. But he traded himself down to, I think it's an Igo, AIGO, which is a very, very small basic car. But you know what? He said himself, he didn't miss it. He was expecting to miss all the bells and whistles that you get from a bigger luxury car, because I mean his old car was a Mercedes, but he didn't miss it. And that's one of the things I will say, it's surprising how you can adapt if you want to, and also you can find you can live on a lot less and have a lot less stress, because you can remove a lot of the hassles in life. Because most of the stuff that we're stressed about or have problems with often isn't ours. It's about the business that we work for. It's about family issues. It's about other people's problems that overflow into our lives. But the point being is, once you start recognizing who wastes your time, who draws on your emotions and everything else, and you can start seeing that you can live very differently and much happier with less. But often you can find ways to make even more money if it does come down to money. But you've got to step back to take that first view to move things forward. Another important aspect to this is that you find that the 5 people you spend the most time with have the most influence on your life and the way you are. So it's definitely worth looking at who you spend your most time with. Are they people that actually add some positivity and good things to your life, or are they people that actually draw things out of you in a negative way? This is one of the things I've got to say about social media. You have to be careful with, because you will find you'll get people posting a lot of negative posts and reposting whatever, and at the same time it is often those people that are being fed into the system for their negative views, and they're buying into media that is being circulated specifically for those types of people. Now, why would you do that? Well, it's pretty much, was it Cambridge Analytica? I think it's Cambridge or Oxford Analytica. Either one of those. It's one of those related to the Brexit and related to the Trump elections. The manipulation of data targets people with specific triggers, because it can then target their emotional responses, which target their votes. The point being is, it's no accident. And one of the things I would recommend is recognizing that a lot of the time we are being played for bits of information and what we should be doing and how we should be thinking about things. But the important bit we need to recognize is thinking out the box is more important. Making our own decisions. And if we can't get an informed decision, then recognize that it may be tainted because of these other things that are going on around us. But ultimately, we really need to move towards lives that we want, not that we need. Because often what we need is manipulated anyway, in the sense that although we need to go to work and we need to do this, it's often set up because you need this high-paying job to pay for this big house, to pay for this big car, to pay for the lifestyle that you have then. But you may actually find that earning it in the West and spending it in the East, that you have a lower cost of living and a higher standard of living, which is often the case. I know with globalization that's getting less and less, but I would also say that the opportunities in the East are also growing. I mean, if you look at the BPO industry, how that's sort of grown with the outsourcing to the Philippines, China, etc. It's all been because of this move. If you look at AliExpress and Amazon, it is fed from not the high street, but fed from the internet. The point being is the markets have changed and the opportunities have changed. Before, we would work at one place and may spend our entire lives there. But you may find now that you could change what you're doing today, retraining something else, which is easier, less stressful, and gives you the opportunity to travel, can be done via laptop, and at the same time have a much better lifestyle. You know, because you may find, because you open yourself up to opportunities, you may find moving into a new avenue opens up more job opportunities to work remotely, to have a better income, and find other cash revenue generators. It's why affiliate marketing works quite well. It's why people talk about ClickFunnels and other things like that, where they found ways to make money online. It's the same way you find YouTube has evolved from people just talking about stuff to it's actually people making a full-time income on it. You've got people that are actually making full-time income through sponsorship as well, and other business opportunities on the back of it. And that's all generated from thinking out of the box. And this is what I'm saying. If you want to travel, personally, I don't recommend waiting until retirement. I do recommend taking a time out and traveling if you can. It's easier when you're younger, I've got to admit that. But at the same time, there is nothing stopping you doing it. I know a lot of guys hold off to the retirement, guys being guys or girls. But I do recommend doing it, because you may find some of the opportunities out there are open to you today, and it may be a completely life-changing experience that you have no regrets going back. You know, at the end of the day, going forward and doing it, you may never have any regrets because of the stuff you gain from it. But I just want to share that today, and I really appreciate everybody's time. And I've got to say, the people I speak to that have actually sort of embraced this sort of stuff and gone out and done it, not one person has said it was a mistake. There's been a few people that have said that they found it hard to do something or whatever, but you know what? Generally, they've come back and said they wish they'd tried harder or tried to do something different rather than giving up and heading home. the reality is they'd already opened themselves to this new opportunity, new country, new way of life, and it's just finding your feet on it. One of the things I will say, if you fail the first time, you can always come back. If you fail the third time, you can always come back, because every step is a new development. When I first moved to the Philippines, we bought a piece of land, and then we built the first apartment, then we built another apartment, and then we built I think we've got 6 now, whatever, but we then bought the lot next to ours and built apartments there. The point being is I could move from Spain and live in the Philippines already full time. There's enough there to generate a cash to live on full time, but for the kids I do recommend Spain, just for their education side. Anyway, thanks for watching.